Good afternoon. Welcome back to BTN TV. I'm Donna Iroldi, Senior Editor for Transportation at Business Travel News. This afternoon, I have with me Alice Ferrari, who is the CEO and a founder of Kyte, a distribution technology company for airlines. Thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I'm glad you're at the show.
I'm loving it.
So, Kyte is a new company, relatively. It launched during the pandemic in 2021. And even though it's geared a little bit, it's geared for airlines, but also travel sellers. Sorry. Tell me a little bit about it, what the company does, and why you decided to launch when you did.
Yeah. So basically, a lot of people in the travel industry would have heard about NDC, New Distribution Capability. It was a technology standard introduced by IATA, the International Air Transport Association. That it was basically an enablement for airlines to connect directly with travel sellers to be able to offer better options to consumers and obviously corporate travel buyers, but also to really modernize the way airlines present their product and offer the whole sort of flight booking experience to consumers. This technology was launched over 20 years ago. Well, it was designed over 20 years ago and then launched in the last decade. And obviously, technology changes it develops at a very fast pace. And I think one of the problems around taking so long to be introduced has led it to be slightly out of date and a bit of. First of all, it's been very difficult to adopt on behalf of travel sellers who want to connect directly to airlines. And second of all, it's very difficult to actually achieve those objectives around really modernizing the way you offer a flight booking experience. So seeing the struggles that travel sellers were facing in wanting to connect directly to airlines via NDC rather than the GDSs, which is basically the traditional way of accessing flight content, we thought, how can we build where NDC has left off, a functionality that really covers all of the objectives of NDC, really empowering airlines and travel sellers to build a better relationship without a middleman and collaborate into bringing more options and flexibility in the hands of the consumer, but with technology that would obviously reduce the friction and drive a lot of the technical costs and complexity associated to NDC today. So that's what Kyte is. We are a modern airline distribution and retail technology provider, but obviously from a travel seller's perspective and ultimately the corporate travel buyer as well, we offer a platform to connect to airlines without obviously the technical challenges that they would face today if they were to use an NDC API basically.
And so who are your competitors in the market?
Yeah, so because we operate in across the board, really, we have a number of sort of either complementary or kind of competitive companies. I'd say obviously there's the big incumbents in the industry like the GDS themselves who also provide technology around distribution and retail to airlines, and I'd say they're obviously competitors because a lot of the world leading airlines work with them already, but that's we could easily also work alongside these really big tech companies because our offering is could be complementary and could be additional or an enhancement to it. And then from the travel sellers perspective, so travel sellers have different options today in how to access flight content, and every travel seller will have different priorities of how they want to connect. There are a lot of either the GDSs themselves, who obviously are as I said, the traditional way to access flight content, but also there are flight aggregators, so aggregators of this NDC API functionality that enables travel sellers to connect to multiple airline APIs via a single platform. We are actually slightly different because we don't take content and sell it to travel sellers. We license the technology and the capability to build direct integrations to airlines. So some travel sellers and ultimately obviously representing the corporate travel buyers will want to do direct integrations with certain airlines to strengthen that relationship and have a one-on-one commercial agreement where they can negotiate certain deals, certain fares that are quite exclusive. We enable that. We just basically take away a lot of the complexity around building a direct integration. So it really depends. I guess another competitor of ours, just to wrap up, is actually travel sellers doing direct integrations with the APIs of the airlines. But these take between 6 and 12 months, and they're very complex. And normally once they do one or two, they then turn to us and say, well, we'd like to try something different.
Can you share some of the major airlines you're already working with and some of the travel sellers?
Yeah, so it's been really exciting because we launched just over a year ago, really, and we're already working with some of the world-leading airlines, some in the US, American Airlines, and some in Europe, British Airways, EasyJet, Iberia. And from a travel seller's perspective, it's been interesting that the nature of our commercials and the way our service is provided has actually attracted a lot of corporate travel sellers, because corporate travel sellers tend to have they need higher touch functionalities. They need that servicing capability, so the ability to manage a flight after it's been booked, and giving that direct link into an airline's core system enables them to fulfill these functionalities that often other sort of aggregator models aren't able to fulfill. So one of our customers that we're really proud to recently announce is actually TripStacks. They're a spin out of ATPI, who is already an existing customer. ATPI are obviously a leading TMC here in the UK, but operate globally. And TripStacks are basically trying to modernize access to new capabilities such as NDC, so the space that we're operating in, making it easier for smaller corporate travel sellers. So we're great that they've chosen us as a launch. We're really grateful that they chose us as a launch partner, and we're really excited to see how this is going to help them develop with their customers.
Great. And can you share what you've been seeing in terms of business travel trends at all in the past year, maybe, since you launched?
So obviously I think the business traveler looks for options and flexibility, and that's what this whole modernization of the way you access content is all about. I think what inspires travel sellers today is the retailing world, where we're used to targeted content, curated content, where we're used to having much more options. Think of Revolut or Amazon or Apple, or anything that makes things functionalities very easy and to access everything at your fingertips. I think the travel industry has a lot to catch up on, but the trends we're seeing is that people are really looking for better technology to offer all of this in a very slick and user-friendly way. So that's definitely one. And then obviously transparency, flexibility in terms of being able to rebook your flights, because we know that the travel industry right now is still very volatile. The consumer really needs the ability to change things when things go wrong, especially with flight disruption right now when there's a lot of delays and cancellations. So that's a really big area of focus in the travel industry as well right now.
That's great. And what plans do you have for the company growth? What's your roadmap look like?
So obviously distribution is a core part of our business, but it's all about the type of content that we want to distribute as well. So we want to go into further more sophisticated retailing and merchandising capabilities for airlines to help them build a more modern shopping experience, include different services at different points in the shopping or flight actual journey. So we're going to go after the retailing aspect of an airline's offer and order. So helping airlines really modernize the way they go to market with personalization, being able to offer more flexibility when you're putting together a flight, being able to offer more options to design your perfect journey. So that's really where the area that we're really passionate about.
That's great. Yes, I flexibility has been a trend I've been hearing.
I've said it about 5 times, so I'd say it's clear.
Well, I want to thank you for your time today and your insights about the new company. Congratulations on the launch.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You.